I am so excited to be speaking to yet another one of my favoriteest people in my HR circle that hails from the Windy City. And sometimes, as we know, I have these conversations in the morning. I still have my happy cup with me, but it is in the afternoon. We've mixed it up a bit, but I am so excited to be talking with Erich Kurschat. Erich, how is your day going? How are you?
I'm doing well, Tina-Marie, and you're kind to say that I am hailing from the Windy City, but as you well know, I'm originally from Michigan, which is your fair
I
state.
I do know that, but you are currently in the Windy City,
I
but you
am,
will
I
always be a
am,
Michigander, which is
yes,
why
at heart.
we appreciate and celebrate you.
Things are going well today. I've been really looking forward to this conversation.
Well, I'm always excited anytime I get the pleasure of having any conversations with you. They're always meaningful and impactful. And that is just because of the person you are, and you're always present in conversations. So, this is two questions with Eric Kurschat today. And these are the two questions that I do ask everybody that gets to hang out with us on HRUnite Conversations with Connections. But Erich, tell us your HR story and what led you to be a steward of people.
Mine starts, I feel like, as many do, as I've learned, kind of by accident. I was a psychology major and a philosophy minor in college, and moved to Chicago with some friends and had a rent that I knew I needed to pay. And if I ever forgot that, my mother reminded me that I needed to pay this rent. And I got a temp job in Chicago. I went to a temp agency and got a job, and they put me as an HR assistant at Levy Restaurants, which is headquartered in on North Michigan Avenue in Chicago. And this is embarrassing. It may be my fault. I don't want to blame it on the institution, but like I was not as familiar with human resources as I should have been, having been a psychology major. It wasn't a discipline that I was familiar with. But it sounded attractive. It had to do with people, and I was fascinated by how people work and how they operate, and all of the things that sort of led me to have been a psychology major to begin with. And I started a job as an HR assistant. By the way, they told me it was going to be in the building where a J. Crew was at the time, and I thought for sure that's where I was going to end up spending my paycheck. Turns out it was about a block away, but close enough that I was still in trouble. Um, and that sort of began my introduction to human resources. And over the 16 years I spent with Levy Restaurants, I was promoted 4 or 5 times, left the director of HR, and really learned human resources through the food service hospitality space. What it meant to invite other people, into your homes. In our language, that was sort of our locations, our restaurants, and sports and entertainment venues, and care for these people. Find them to begin with in terms of our employee base, but find them, hold on to them, develop them, make sure that they were given every resource that they needed to succeed. And I think I learned the right way. I have since left Levy Restaurants and gone on to some other things, and I often look back on my Levy upbringing and think about how we did HR, and I'm very proud to have learned the human resources discipline that way.
And that is amazing. How you learned to meet people where they're at, that
Mhm.
investment from within and into the more we invest our people, those rewards that come from that. And I also affectionately started out in hospitality, working for I didn't work for Levy, I worked for a competitor as a corporate trainer. And so
Mhm.
there are so many things that when you're in a service related industry, that we learned how we in HR can be of service to people. And I think even as you've evolved in your career progression to the point where now the work you do now is helping people be better, being better of service when we
Mhm.
interact, engage, and support people. It's so wonderful to hear that story again. And those, I'm going to say, you said you learned to do it the right way. And I wish all of us had that opportunity to really fall into HR and learn how to do it the right way. But it doesn't matter when we fall into it, we eventually do learn that as people, we need to take care of people.
Yeah. And what better environment, I think, than in an industry where you're welcoming guests consumers, into your restaurants, and think about the service you've experienced in restaurants where you felt really cared for and welcomed and in all of those things, and then being able to apply that analogously to the work of human resources. That when you welcome an employee into your company, they're, that don't know that I would use the guest term anymore, but they very much belong there. And so how are you demonstrating that in terms of how you communicate with them and how you equip them for success? And arguably, if you're a more forward thinking organization, more progressive organization, prepare them for whatever comes next in their career. Don't hold on so tightly to them that they're never allowed to leave. Rather build them up, and equip them and empower them to make decisions that may lead them outside of your organization, and have that be okay. Be able to facilitate that transition out of your company without any resentment, because you've done what you've needed to do.
Yeah, that term, if you love something so much, you need to let it go.
Yeah, yeah.
That is, that might be a whole conversation for another day. That whole topic of, as leaders, we are always going to be leaders, even if it's not somebody directly working with us. But that's how we create boomerangs. So maybe we postpone that whole topic
Yes.
of conversations. That's like grab an espresso, triple up
Right.
espresso conversation.
There we go.
Love it. Love it. So let me ask you this. If there was one moment that shaped your career or had the most impact influence, and you actually started sharing that 16 years of investment in as you started as an HR assistant. But if there's one moment that shaped your career before or after your time at Levy, what was it?
It was sort of more generally working for just an amazing supervisor, a woman who saw things in me that maybe I wasn't yet ready to see, who recognized the things that I did well, but was also eager to push me outside of my comfort zone, or coax me outside, or however do you want to put that. And a defining moment was when she came to me and said, "Eric, you seem to be really drawn to the disc model that we were using at Levy." And she said, "I would love for you to be the person who facilitates these workshops for our company, really be the go-to sort of resource." And sort of the way that I'm wired, I thought of myself as a thought of this as an opportunity really to demonstrate expertise in something that I was very passionate about. And so I was drawn to that piece and loved it. But when she mentioned that I would be facilitating workshops for, up to 70 people, managers and chefs from across the country, I nearly crawled under my desk. I was an introvert and still am. And just that visibility and the spotlight just did not appeal to me. But because of the relationship that we had, the trust that I had in her and vice versa, I decided that I wanted to give this a shot. And that was just so pivotal in terms of the direction my HR career would take me, the ability to begin my own business, almost focused entirely on disc. And know that everything that I'm doing now has as its foundation this sort of core HR generalist platform, without which I don't know that I would be able to approach the work that I do now with disc as confidently as I do.
And celebrating that supervisor for opening up that door.
Yeah.
A door you
Yes.
may not have opened up yourself had you not gotten a little nudge.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, like, from day one, I still, after doing it all this time, I still get nervous, like a sort of a positive energy stepping onto a stage or into a workshop that I'm facilitating. I also perform classically. I love singing anytime I get on stage. But that nervousness, those butterflies remind me that I'm doing something that I'm so passionate about. Yes, in part it reminds me that I'm stepping out of my comfort zone, but that I am doing that. I'm choosing to do that. She didn't coerce me. She didn't sort of threaten to take away my job if I didn't do this thing. But she thought, "Eric, this could be a really good development opportunity for you." And had I not embraced that opportunity, who knows where my career would have gone? Maybe I still would have enjoyed it, but I can say for sure I enjoy what I'm doing now.
Yeah. Most definitely. Um, so I want to celebrate part of how we end our conversation. Convos with Connections is we celebrate the power of connections with others. And I will share for those that don't know that Erich is the epitome of being a connector of people and connecting people that can benefit from mutual, I'm going to say mutual benefit, but connecting from the power of that relationship. And like that supervisor that opened the door for you, you have that gift to be able to do that when there's two people that are like, you two need to get in a room and just talk.
Mhm.
The beauty and the energy that will come from it will be amazing. So, Erich, is there anybody within, it could be within the HRUnite community or the community that you want to give a shout out to that you're like, wow, everybody should just connect with?
Yeah, I appreciate that. So many people come flooding to mind. I can't help but go to somebody that you and I both know well. This is somebody who's been very visible within the HRUnite community at your annual conferences, and that's a really close friend of mine named Paul Alone. Paul is an HR practitioner. He's an HR leader. One of the many reasons that I have a great admiration for Paul is that he thinks very deeply about what it means to do the right thing, sort of very philosophically about how he approaches the work that he does, and has developed an entire confidence around being on stage and sharing his successes where he works for his employer, but also the passion that he has for developing people and for the HR discipline. And every time I'm around Paul, I'm inspired to think differently about the work that I do, um, and to ensure that people are reminded that regardless of what their title is or their tenure, etc., everybody has something valuable and worthwhile to share if they embrace the opportunity to share that enthusiasm. And I think Paul is just the perfect example of somebody who has recognized and embraced that opportunity to share something that is of such value.
Well, if you are interested in connecting with Paul, we are going to have a shout out slide at the end of Erich's and I conversation today with a QR code that you can quickly just connect with him on LinkedIn. And he is indeed somebody that you will have a very meaningful conversation with. And of course, if you have not connected with Erich, and he is a man of many great things, he also hosts a similar connection community called HR Hot Seat. And we have been mutual supporters of each other's communities throughout the years, continue to do so. And yeah, I'm loving the OG
Yep.
logo back there. The benefits of being part of a community where you can get in it, they foster, both communities foster HR helping HR. And so HR hot seat communities, where you come and you can ask 10 peers, like, here's my issue. Can I get some feedback right away? And HRUnite, we just do the same thing, but we do over coffee, because HR is powered by coffee or tea or whatever your beverage is. And it's really important that we create these spaces for people to ask authentic questions and get authentic feedback. So if you are not connected with Erich, definitely we're going to have that QR code for both HR Hot Seat and be able to connect with Erich directly. He is one of my go-to for things, all things DISC, and he does it in a manner that's not your typical facilitation. And that's what I love about Erich, is that the way he helps people, he's a facilitation of learning. He is not telling you what you think you need to know. He is sharing information that will help make you a better person. So if you're looking for DISC, you want to connect with people, or you just want to know a really good human, I'm just going to suggest that you click on those QR codes. They're going to be at the end of our conversation. But Erich, I love anytime we can connect, and I have been so grateful to have you be part of my HR circle for so many years. And yes, he is from Michigan. I do know that, but he's been in the Windy City long enough that I can claim that he's from there too.
I'll take it. Tina-Marie, you know I'm so inspired by our conversations and the work that you do through HRUnite and far beyond. So it really means a lot to me that you'd invite me to be a part of this conversation today.
I wouldn't have it any other way. So thank you so much. We look forward to having future convos with connections. But today, Eric, it's been a pleasure. And I hope you make the rest of your day just as amazing as you have made ours.